Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this week on the channel, we are going to start incorporating a little more football. I am a huge football fan from the NFL to college football. I love them all, and so I want to start incorporating that. So I'm going to give you weekly predictions, weekly fantasy updates, but today we're going to do my way too early ranking. So I'm going to rank all 32 teams, even though the season hasn't even started. So let's get into it. Number 32 for me is the Panthers. I am an Alabama fan. I do love Bryce Young, but I just don't feel like the Panthers have made any progress the last couple years with him. And I don't think they've made any major additions that are really going to take them over the top. So I'm definitely putting them at 32. Number 31 for me is the Giants. While I think they have a great quarterback in Jackson Dart, and obviously Malik Nabers is a great wide receiver, I think the Giants still need a lot more help and a lot more additions before they are in that competitive mode. So I'm definitely going to put them at 31. But I do think that they've got a great start, and maybe in a few years they will be in that competitive mode. I just don't think two guys will put them there. Number 30 for me is the Jets. They lost Aaron Rodgers, which they never really honestly had him. They had him for a little while. He got hurt. And they just never really recovered. And I still don't think that they have fully recovered. While I am hoping that Justin Fields can really kind of revamp his career, because I think he kind of got the shit end of the deal in Chicago, if I'm being honest with you, and I'm a Chicago fan. And I love that we got Caleb Williams, but I just don't like the way they handled Justin Fields' situation. I just don't think he makes a major difference for the Jets, and I think that they continue to struggle this year. Number 29 for me is the New Orleans Saints. Although I'm very intrigued by this team and Spencer Rattler in general, I think that they don't have all of the key pieces that they need to really be at that competitive level. I am very intrigued to see what Spencer Rattler does this year and to see if he develops himself as the go-to guy for the Saints. But I definitely think that they are another team that needs a lot of help before they're competing again. Number 28 for me is the Titans. Now, I do love that they got a quarterback in Cam Ward, who I think is actually going to help them a lot. They had Will Levis, and he didn't pan out to be what they wanted him to be. So they went and drafted Cam Ward this year, and we've already seen him connect with Calvin Ridley, another Bama guy who I love, a couple times in the preseason. And I personally think that that connection is going to continue, and they're going to build and grow. But again, I think that they need a lot more key components before that they're at that competitive level. But I think Tennessee, out of all of these teams we've talked about, is kind of on the fastest track to be competitive. I think they've got a solid quarterback if Cam Ward can stay healthy, and I think that Calvin Ridley is a hell of a wide receiver. So I think that they're definitely building and getting there, but they need, again, some more time. Number 27 to me is the Browns. I can't put the Browns any higher because I don't know what they're going to do with their quarterback situation. They have so many quarterbacks on their roster, and to be honest with you, I would probably make Shedeur Sanders my starting quarterback, but they have not announced it yet, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. And let's be honest, I'm not trying to be mean, but the Browns are always the Browns, and they just always seem to somehow mess something up. So I cannot put them any higher in my good conscience. Number 26 for me is the Colts. Now, I did think about this one a little bit because I feel like the Titans could possibly be better than them. However, the Colts do have Jonathan Taylor as a running back, and as we know in this league, a running back can go far. Having a good quarterback and having a good running back can really put you over the top. And while I think the Colts quarterback in Anthony Richardson is a little shaky, he can't stay healthy. We haven't seen a whole bunch from him. The glimpses that we have seen haven't been consistent enough to judge him on. I think Jonathan Taylor is a great running back, and so I think that they'll win games with him, and that's why I put them over the Titans. Number 25 for me is the Cardinals. Again, I like Kyler Murray, but the glimpses that I've seen of him hasn't been consistent enough for me to rank them higher. I do think that they are working toward that track. The drafting of Marvin Harris Jr. has been fantastic for that team. He's a great wide receiver and a very big asset to them. But they still need to really build and grow. So hopefully, this is the year that they can get grounded and do that. Number 24 to me is the Falcons. We are away from the Kirk Cousins Penix drama, kind of. I am expecting Penix to be their starting quarterback as Kirk Cousins is their backup. But I still think that drama took a toll on them last season and really affected the way the whole team in general played. I do think Penix is going to have a bright future if they know how to use him and know how to build around him. So I'm intrigued to see what this team does this year. Number 23 for me is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. I think that he needs some weapons. And I think one of those weapons is who they drafted this year in Travis Hunter. We know that Travis Hunter can help on the defensive side and the offensive side. So I think he's a great pickup for that team, and I think he's going to help out a lot. But again, they still need some more key pieces around them. But I definitely do think Travis Hunter makes a difference this year for that team. Number 22 for me is the Patriots. I think Drake May is a guy that you can build around. I think Coach Vrabel is a great hire by them. But I will be honest with you, this whole Stephon Diggs drama can really throw a wrench in your team. I think they need wide receivers, and I honestly think that if Stephon Diggs would report to camp and to report to training and games and stuff, he could be a good key asset for them. But right now, it's just been a little rocky between them. So I definitely think that they have to solve that whole drama before actually focusing on games, to be honest with you, because it's a distraction. Number 21 for me is the Dolphins. Now, we all know what the Dolphins did a couple years ago. They were great. Their coach is fantastic. But the Dolphins have to stay healthy. They have to have a healthy Tua. They have to have a healthy receiving core. And they have to have no Tyreek Hill drama. We know that he wanted to be out. We know that his teammates called him out. And so, again, they have to work through that distraction before focusing on the games. I think if Tua can stay healthy, if Jalen Waddle can stay healthy, and if Tyreek can stay healthy and happy, they would be on a good start to getting back to what they were. But the key here, honestly, to me, is keeping Tua healthy, making sure that he no longer goes through any of these concussion issues, getting him a line that really protects him, and that's where they need to focus. Number 20 for me is the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to be a surprise team this year. I think the addition of Geno Smith is great. I definitely don't think that they're going to be a playoff team just yet, but I definitely think that they're on the rise. I think that Ashton Jeanty was a great addition because I think he's going to be a good quarterback for them. And of course, Max Crosby always shows up and plays hard, so shout out to him for always showing up. I think that the Raiders are going to be a surprise to everybody this year, and I think they're going to be pretty decent. Then, number 19 for me is the Seahawks. I think the pairing of Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp is going to be a good one. We saw what Sam Darnold did at the Vikings, and I think he was excellent. And I'm curious to see if he can carry that out to Seattle with him. And add some more weapons and add some more kind of core grounding out there because they really kind of needed a whole revamp after losing Geno. And really before Geno, because Geno kind of stepped in and surprised everybody. So the Seahawks really needed that revamp. I think maybe Sam Darnold can be that guy, and we'll see what happens with that. Number 18 for me is the Steelers. Now, I went back and forth on this one because we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers in a little bit now. But I think that if anybody could get Aaron Rodgers back to that level, it's Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is the best coach in the league. I have a lot of respect for that man, and I think he's a person that can turn a small pile of dirt into a castle. So if anybody can get Aaron Rodgers back to his great prime Aaron Rodgers, it's him. And I think that Aaron Rodgers definitely won last year where he's competing and good. So I definitely think this is the year for them to do that. Number 17 for me is the Cowboys. I wanted to put the Cowboys higher, but I cannot do it because of this issue with Micah Parsons. Because I will tell you one thing, and I will stand by this: if they lose Micah Parsons, that is the biggest fumble of the NFL season. Because Micah Parsons is that guy. He is that guy. He is such a hard player. He will show up for you. He has been loyal to them. So I need Jerry Jones to draw up that contract and sign Micah Parsons before we even get into this NFL season, because honestly, losing him would really hurt the team, not only on the field, but I think mentally as well, because I think a lot of the guys would be done with this whole cat and mouse game that they're playing. So I wanted to put the Cowboys higher. I just couldn't do it because of that Parsons drama. I do think George Pickens is a good pickup for them, and it'll be a good weapon for Dak. But again, they have to solve that Micah Parsons drama. And then for number 16 is the Vikings. I am interested in the combination of J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson. I'm going to call them JJ squared the whole season. So you're going to hear me say that the whole season. I am interested to see what J.J. McCarthy has in his gas tank. We saw a great preseason from him. He had some consistent throws. He had a very decent preseason, especially coming off an injury. And we know that J-Jet is one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the league. So to see them two pair up, I'm very intrigued by. Number 15 for me is the Rams. And this all relies on Stafford's help. Because I'll be honest with you, Matt Stafford is a great quarterback. I think he's a little underrated. I think people kind of sleep on him a little bit. But he has to stay healthy. And he has been dealing with some back issues. And let's be honest, you can't be a quarterback with a bad back because you are the back of the team. So I think that if he can stay healthy and he can get over this back issue, the Rams will be a decent team, but it all relies on him. Number 14 for me is the Bears, my team. I think that we are going to continue to improve this season. This is Caleb Williams' second year, and I think we are going to really get our feet on the ground and figure out what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, and really dial in on that. Plus, we have more time with our coach that we hired, and so that's going to help a lot. Number 13 for me is the 49ers. I think Brock Purdy is going to want to get back to that Super Bowl level, as well as CMC is going to want to get healthy again and run the ball like we know he is. He is one of the best, if not the best, running backs in the league when he is healthy. So I think that team definitely still has some talent and definitely can still compete. Number 12 is the Texans. Now, they had a little bit of a disappointing year last year, and I think this is the year they bounce back. I think CJ Stroud and his team get it back together, and he does what we saw CJ Stroud do a couple years ago, and I personally think that they are going to have a bounce back year. And then number 11 for me is the Packers. I think that if Jordan Love can complete targets and his wide receivers cannot drop passes, they will have a decent year. I think they will compete in the division, and I think that they will compete overall, but it all relies on that wide receiver core. Number 10 is the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is another underrated quarterback. I think he's very good. I think with the addition of Jim Harbaugh, he really kind of helped him last year, and I think they continue to improve and work together and really build that team around Justin Herbert. Number 9 for me is the Bengals. Now, the Bengals always have a slow start, and there's a little drama circulating around them too, but they still have Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow goes out and makes plays and wins games, and that's what he does. And so I definitely think that he's going to continue to do that. I think they're going to figure out their drama and really go back to being that competitive team that we've seen in the past. Number 8 for me is the Bucks. Baker Mayfield looked very good last year. The Bucks looked very good last year. They defeated some really good people, some really good teams, and I think they continue to carry that momentum into this year. Number 7 for me is the Broncos. This is Bo Nix's second year, and he surprised everybody last year. I don't think there was a single person that thought Bo Nix was going to have the year that he actually did last year. He surprised everybody, and I think year 2 he's not going to slow down. He's going to be hungrier, and he's going to want more. So I definitely think that they're going to have another great year. Number 6 for me, and I almost switched 5 and 6 just to let you guys know, but number 6 for me is the Commanders. I think that the wide receiver drama with McLaurin, McLaurin asking for a trade really kind of affected them, but they also do have Deebo Samuels who can fill in that role and really help Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is a star. We saw it last year. He is great, and I think that as long as he continues to do what he does, they'll be competing again. And then number 5 for me is the Lions. I think Dan Campbell has a strong team. I think he has a tough team, and I think that they are disappointed with the way last year ended. So I think that they're going to come back stronger. They're going to come back more determined, and they're going to compete and possibly be a Super Bowl team again this year. Number 4, of course, is the Bills. Now, Josh Allen is an absolute stud on the field. He can make plays and win games and do like no other. But they do have some injuries. However, I think that they will prevail. I think that there'll be some hiccups along the way, but they'll definitely be another Super Bowl contention team again this year. And then number 3 for me is the reigning champions, the Eagles. Repeats are hard to do, you guys. They're very hard to do. So I don't think that they're going to repeat this year. I'm going to put them at 3. But they're still a solid team, and they're still one not to sleep on because they're still fantastic. Number 2 for me is the Kansas City Chiefs. As long as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid are together, I could never sleep on this team. I'm sorry, I can't do it. They always find a way to win. They always find a way to put themselves in that playoff contention and that Super Bowl contention, so I can never sleep on them as long as those 3 are on the team. Number 1 for me is the Baltimore Ravens, and this is no shock. I think the dynamic duo between Derrick Henry and Jackson is unstoppable. I have mad respect for both of those guys, and I think that they were very disappointed last year that they didn't get to the Super Bowl. So this year they're going to come in hungrier than ever, and you guys watch out, because when you have a mad Derrick Henry and a mad Lamar, they're going to be a force. So that is my way too early NFL predictions. I'm curious to know your guys's. Let me know who you think is going to be the best teams this year, and we are ready for football season, you guys. As always, subscribe to my channel, like, comment, follow me on all socials, and I'll see you guys next time.